All right. Hello, good evening, everybody. I hope if you're watching, you can hear me okay. I've got a different setup than last week's live stream, so hopefully I'm coming through loud and clear. If I'm not, let me know in the comments in the chat. Let me know if you're having a hard time hearing me or if anything's not clear. But welcome to another episode of Smart Silver Stacker Live here on this Friday night. If you're tuning in, lots of good stuff we can get into tonight. Gold and silver had a pretty interesting week. Had some moves up and then a little bit of a pullback. But I want to talk a little bit about that move up that we had on Wednesday and what triggered that and what I think that might portend for the future and why I think this is a significant move in the price of the metal. So if you're watching, say hi in the chat. I'm still kind of getting used to running one of these things and I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody here on the broadcast. Okay, so hello, Shattered Solitude. Hey, good to know someone's out there. All right, so let's get into silver's move up on Wednesday because we had a pretty good move up and I want to talk about the causes for that. Ryan G. Hey, everybody. Hey, Ryan. How you doing, man? All right, let me see. How do I pull this up here? Hi, Space Bears. Okay, so on Wednesday, we got a report that the CPI had moved up more than it was expected to. We had a rise in the CPI of 0.4%, and that was above expectation. So median estimate was 0.3%. So nothing too crazy. I mean, we know inflation's high. It's no surprise to anybody watching, I'm sure, that we would have higher than expected inflation. But the thing that was unique about what happened on Wednesday was that for the recent past, what has happened whenever we got a inflation number that was higher than usual was gold and silver would move down. But this Wednesday, they reacted differently. As the CPI number beat expectations, we saw that gold and silver actually moved up. So I think that's significant because if we're seeing a change in the way that the metals react to inflation news, then we could be seeing a lot more moves up in the precious metals shortly. I'm trying to look at the chart for silver here on TradingView. I guess I've got to register an account. Pretty sure I have an account somewhere. But anyway, despite this annoying screen that we're looking at here, you can see over here where the mouse cursor is. My whole point in having this TradingView screen up was I just wanted to show how big of a move up we had in the price of silver on Wednesday. It's this big green candlestick here. And then we had a bit more of a move up. Now, we had a bit of a pullback today, today on Friday. And I think it's normal after a move up like this to see a little bit of a consolidation. And, you know, gold and silver typically, silver especially, can be kind of a volatile market. And gold was pushing up against some resistance on that move. So I think it's completely normal we would see a little bit of a pullback. But the main significance of this is that gold and silver reacted positively to inflation news that beat expectations. Because like I said, for the past several months to year, every time we get an inflation number that comes out higher than expected, we see the metals tank. And if that's changing, that's pretty significant for anybody who's investing in precious metals. You can see here, this is an article from Kitco. Gold ran into massive resistance at the $1,800 an ounce level, triggering a $30 retreat Friday. And we may have to bump up against that $1,800 level a few times until we can break through it. But, you know, once we do, of course, the resistance becomes the new floor. And we're not that far off from all-time highs in the price of gold. And once we break those, I think that really all bets are off. And I do think that we will be making new all-time highs in the gold price in relatively short order. Anything can happen in the short term. We'll have to see how the November FOMC meeting goes. If they do announce a taper or something like that, I think it'll really be just kind of a trial taper. I don't think that they're going to be able to pull that off. And even if they are able to, taper asset purchases a little bit, it's a whole other ballgame to raise interest rates. So we still have an extremely accommodative monetary policy, regardless of the Fed's tune of late. But, the September jobs report that we got was not particularly good. And one of the things that Powell had stated at the FOMC meeting in September and at Jackson Hole in August was that employment was critical for moving forward with the taper. And he said that test had been all but met. But now, with the September jobs report coming in a bit weaker than everyone expected, we're going to have to wait until the FOMC meeting in November to find out if the Fed will be moving forward with a taper or not. Now, if they come out in November at the FOMC fairly dovish, then I think that could be what could trigger silver and gold to break out of the resistance that they're currently butting up against. 14 watching. Thanks, Coin Crew. Thank you, everybody who's tuned in to watch this episode of Smart Silver Stacker Live. If there's anything you guys would like to cover, let me know in the chat. If you want to keep talking about silver and, inflation and the Fed and all that, we can do that. Or we can move on to other topics. It's all up to you guys. Let's see. What else we got going on this evening? Well, I've got some polls, which I'll be doing videos on in the near future. We've got poll from last week. If you could only stack one, which would you pick? The American Silver Eagle, the Canadian Maple Leaf, the Morgan Silver Dollar, Mercury Dimes, or Silver Bars? And I'm not logged in right now on this screen, so can't actually see the results. I think Silver Bars is actually in the lead at the moment, but I'll be doing a video on that probably at the beginning of next week. How often do you do lives, says Coin Crew? I'm fairly new to live streaming. This is only the third time I've done it. And last Friday I did two. I did kind of a lunchtime one where I was just kind of playing around with it and getting used to doing the live streams, and I did one in the evening. Best sites to buy from online, says Space Bears. Well, Space Bears, I have used JM Bullion, SD Bullion, APMEX. I've bought from the Bullion Exchange's eBay store, the Scottsdale Mint eBay store, the APMEX eBay store, Gainesville Coins. I've shopped from them. I've had a good experience with all of those places. One site I do want to check out soon is this one, Hero Bullion. Last week when I did the live stream, you guys were telling me about this in the chat, and they actually do have really good prices out of stock on some of these listings here, but you can get silver dimes, and if you saw one of my most recent videos, I love silver dimes. I did a video on that a couple days ago, but you can get $1 face value junk silver for as low as $21.40. Now you got to buy 1,000 of them to get that price, but even if you're just buying one, $22.40. Now I haven't actually bought anything from Hero Bullion before, so probably my next silver purchase I'm going to make through them, just because they do have good prices and some people were recommending them, and they look legit. Free shipping on orders $99 and up, so that's a good deal. So I'll probably grab some junk silver from them soon, just make a small purchase to test them out. Coin Crew says, I find APMEX to have a larger selection. Yeah, Coin Crew, APMEX really has the best selection, I think, out of most of the dealers if you're looking for just a wide variety of stuff to stack. In my experience, APMEX's prices are typically a little bit higher unless they have some items on sale, which they do have time to time. But, I did a video not too long ago where I was showing some fractional silver, and the only place I could actually find kind of a selection of fractional silver was over at APMEX. The other dealers that I've shopped with in the past don't even carry that stuff. So yeah, if you want like coins to collect, or you want world coins, or just kind of more obscure stuff, AppMix is really good. I like SD Bullion a lot. I've had a good experience with them in the past. If you wait for them to have sales, sometimes they have really good sales on stuff. And JM Bullion, same thing. Lately premiums have been so high on everything. There haven't been as many opportunities to stack, but they're still out there. You just got to keep an eye out for them and wait for things to go on sale. Wait for a dip and then see if you can find a product that's on sale. I've got on JM Bullion here the 90% silver page pulled up because I've kind of been looking at this ongoing shortage and high premiums in junk silver. And last week, this time, JM Bullion was actually out of all of their 90% junk silver. Like, they didn't have a single listing in stock. Looks like they've restocked here recently. But, I don't think the inventory levels are still kind of low compared to what they have been traditionally. And, that might have something to do with all the supply chain shortages and all that stuff we've had. I know shipping and everything is getting expensive. But, supply chain shortages, in my opinion, is really just a buzzword for inflation. Things are just getting more expensive to do stuff like ship because energy is moving up. I'm sure the cost of the parts for maintain a fleet of vehicles is moving up. There's wage inflation going on. In fact, while we're on that subject, here's a headline from today from Bloomberg. Goldman Sachs CEO says wage inflation is spreading through economy because, there's that whole worker shortage that we've been experiencing lately in all sorts of businesses. And everybody keeps saying there's a worker shortage. And, it's true. There are elements of the government and stuff that are kind of paying people not to work. So I'm sure that has something to do with it. And that's what everybody blames. But, also part of it is just inflation. It is wage inflation. And the cost of hiring employees and maintaining employees has just moved up quite a bit. You got to think about it that way. Like, if a place can't find staff, how do they get staff? If, say you have a restaurant and you have 10 spots and you only have 5 people on staff and you need to fill those 5 spots, well, what you have to do is you have to raise the wages until you're able to hire somebody because there are workers out there. I mean, how quickly do you think you could fill those spots if you said, well, they pay $500 an hour? You'd fill them up real quick. Obviously, that's an exaggeration and it's hyperbole. But my point is there's like a point where supply meets demand and you can find employees for your business. But because of all the wage inflation that we've been experiencing, it may not be economically feasible for business owners to do that. And so inflation can really have insidious side effects on an economy when it comes to things like employment. You'd think it's a worker shortage, but really you can view it just as wage inflation. And the Goldman Sachs CEO seems to agree, David Solomon. He said that inflation, particularly in wages, remains top of mind among corporate leaders and shareholders. Inflation is a quote, inflation is a topic that is front and center with every investor that I talk to, and certainly with every CEO that's running a business of any size or scope, Solomon said Friday in an interview with Bloomberg Television. There is definitely inflation. We haven't seen it in a while, and the question is, what choices do we make from here? Solomon's comments follow similar concerns voiced this week by Bank of America Corporation CEO Brian Moynihan, Morgan Stanley CEO James Gorman, and Goldman President John Waldron. Recent inflation, driven in part by worker shortages and rising wages, is clearly not temporary, Moynihan said Thursday. So yeah, these guys, I'm sure they're seeing it at the banks. It's hard for them to find employees. So, inflation is manifesting itself all over the place. And really the fact that gold and silver are just now starting to react to high inflation in a positive way is an indication that we may be at the beginning of a big move up in the precious metals. Now, speaking of the shortage, if we go over to the SD Bullion page here, they are very low on junk silver. Looks like you can get some of these real nice looking mercury dimes, but that's at a really high premium. I mean, $138.82 for $5 face value. What does that come out to when what you're paying per ounce? It's, let's see, paying almost $38 an ounce for silver for these silver diamonds. Now, mind you, they're nice looking, but my point is that's all they have in stock here. Same price for these quarters. There's really no like junk silver. They've got some nicer old coins. If you want to buy $100 face value of $half, you can get it for $23.16 per face value, and that's still a really high premium. Let's see, yeah, that's $32.39 per troy ounce, so that's like the cheapest if you buy in bulk here on SD Bullion. All right, let's see what's going on in the chat. Zelor8, I hope I'm saying that right. Howdy from Nevada. Howdy, Zelor. What you guys doing out there in Nevada? Nevada is the state, I think, that produces the most gold, right? You guys got a bunch of gold mining and stuff out there, like by a large margin, too. So you're out in gold country. Coin Cruise is a little pricey, but if you look, APMEX does have some less expensive items if you're not picky. Yeah, they have sales. Coin Crew says SD and JM seem to be out of things I want. I think my shop has a larger selection than the later two, just not in quantities. Yeah, JM Bullion and SD Bullion have been struggling to keep things in stock, I feel like. Now, as far as your local coin shop, yeah, I really wish I had a local coin shop because it's a long drive for me, so I don't really visit them too frequently because I don't have any in my area. But I used to, and I always used to love shopping in person at the local coin shop. And I think that right now, the local coin shops, I mean, they probably are the places where you can score deals on bullion and not get caught paying these enormous premiums. SD Bullion and JM Bullion, I love them, but their premiums on everything have just kind of gone up a lot. And, like I said, every now and then they'll have something on sale. Like I think JM Bullion had a kilo bar on sale last weekend that was a decent deal, but you got to really shop around at the online dealers. Now, Coin Crew, I am my local coin shop. Oh, so, well, yeah, I wish I had a coin shop. Maybe someday, that'd be cool. Here's an interesting trick on JM Bullion, guys, because they've restocked their 90% silver. But if you are ever curious about the supply of precious metals from any of these dealers, and I don't know if this works on every dealer site, although I suspect it does, but I know it works on the JM Bullion site. You can put in the quantity 9,999 for any of these items and then try to add them to your cart, and it'll actually tell you how many of that SKU they have in stock in their warehouse. See, it says here, unfortunately, we only have 252 of these in stock. So, they've got 252 of these $10 face value lots. So you could actually, if you wanted to take the time to do it, you could figure out exactly how much junk silver JM Bullion has. I'm not suggesting anybody do that. I don't know what the point of that would really be. But, in the future, it might be an interesting thing to know. For example, here, this $500 face value lot of Washington quarters. And, just let me add it. Let me add 9,999 of them. They have 8 in stock. They probably have 9, actually, because one's sitting in my cart. But anyway, my point is, you can kind of see their inventory levels a little more transparently than you otherwise might. And they do have some stuff back in stock, but what I've been noticing is that these places will have stuff in stock, and then a few days later they won't. So it's like they're barely able to keep up the inventory that they need to meet their demand from customers. OG Brick 420. What's good, OG Brick? Thanks for joining, my friend. Let's see. I'm a fan of that new Asahi Trade Buffalo. I haven't seen those yet. Where are they? Let's see if I can pull them up. Are they, it's a silver round, I take it? Let's see. 1 ounce Asahi. Let's see if we can find that. Let's see. Here on Money Metals. Is this the one you're talking about? 1 troy ounce. I know these are kind of the, buffaloes. I feel like everybody makes buffaloes sometimes. Of course, I am a super fan of Engelhard brand. Yes, 1 ounce silver round. Yeah, who doesn't love a good 1 ounce silver buffalo. I mean, if you're going to get generic rounds, that's got to be the most recognizable one. The only thing that I would, be a little concerned about is the 1 ounce silver buffalo coin has got to be probably the most counterfeited round. I don't know. I'm not trying to throw any shade on the buffalo pattern. I don't know that for a fact. That's not it. Yeah, this is like just some generic one, OG brick. You see, what's it called? They are real shiny. Yeah, Asahi has cool stuff. They have like cool relief on their coins. Maybe this is it. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, Buffalo rounds in all their incarnations are pretty sweet. Everyone makes that one. Yeah, everyone makes that. Oh, okay. It's a go to AppMex and look at them. Okay, so they've got them in AppMex. Thank you, Coin Crew, for letting me know. I was wondering where those were at. Pop-ups. Pop-ups. Let's see. Silver. See, and here's one of the issues with AppMex is they have so much stuff on here. It's going to take me a minute just to find it. Like we were saying. A Dogecoin round. Gosh, I should probably get one of those just to commemorate what a weird time we live in. Who doesn't love the story of Dogecoin? Nothing makes me happier than a bunch of people buying a meme coin and becoming millionaires. I've discovered stacking Magic the Gathering cards is a great idea. Had to pinch myself when I looked up my old cards. Yeah, good old Magic the Gathering. I've pretty sure I've got some of those squirreled away somewhere. I'm pretty sure. I think I've got a burn deck. Also have a goblin deck, I think. I always liked red mana, the mountains. AppMex Silver Trade Buffalo. Okay, yeah, sorry I'm so slow at finding this thing. Ooh, a 1 ounce silver round Aztec calendar. Now that's a cool round. I love those. 1 ounce silver round. I don't know. You guys tell me if I pass it here. I mean, these are all cool. And of course, this is one of the most fun parts about stacking silver rounds is there's just such a variety of patterns. I mean, there's really something for everybody. I like these, I don't know, I like Zodiac coins and rounds. I don't really care if they're coins or rounds as long as they're neat. Here's a Year of the Rat. Now, I used to have a pet rat. He passed away many years ago. He was sweet, though. But Year of the Rat, yeah, rats are thrifty, diligent, wisdom, prudent, and humorous. Who doesn't like a good rat, right? Unless they're a wild rat and they're not supposed to live in your house, then they're horrible. I bought 100 of the Doge Silver. It has the search bar Silver Trade Buffalo. Okay. Okay. Maybe this is it. Oh, wow. Yeah, that is a fantastic round. Very cool. I like that. And it says liberty, independence, and freedom. So I think those are all virtues that silver stackers appreciate. So I like that. That's a pretty cool rendering on this side. 0.999 troy ounce AG. I do like the style of these quite a bit. Very nice. Might just grab one of these or something. I'll do that with rounds sometimes. If I see a pattern that I like, I'll throw just one into my cart. So I have a little collection of just interesting silver rounds. If I'm buying something else, like buying a bar or some junk silver or whatever. See, it is very nice. Yeah, it is. This is a cool one. Let's see, 2813. So a little bit of a premium if you get 500 of them. 2713. So I don't know if this is the best price on silver round, but it's close, and it is a really nice looking round. So the front is the bomb. Yeah. No, this is a very cool coin. I like that buffalo too. That buffalo looks a little less passive than the one on the other. The other one's like a side shot, like you're getting ready to shoot it like a hunter. This one looks like it's getting ready to charge at something. So pretty cool. I ordered a bunch of those. Yeah, good addition to your stack, Coin Crew. And even if you pay an extra 50 cents per ounce or something like that, who really cares? I mean, you're still getting some real money in your hand as opposed to the fiat that you're trading for it. So, if you like that particular round, who am I to say, go get something that doesn't look as cool but is a tiny, tiny fraction cheaper? And you never know when you're buying rounds of interesting designs and patterns like this. There's a collectible market for a lot of that stuff, and you never know what's going to suddenly appreciate significantly due to some kind of demand or something like that, or they don't mint too many of particular coins. So every now and then just getting some random pattern rounds, I think, is nothing wrong with that at all. This is that Aztec one I was taking a look at, and I've got one of these. This is this guy, Cuauhtemoc. I like him. He's the last emperor of the Aztec Empire, and he didn't live very long. He was betrayed and gutted by the Spanish at some point. He took over after Moctezuma died of smallpox, I think, and he basically died fleeing from Tenochtitlan, their capital. I have one of these rounds. I did a video about it a while ago about how this is actually my pocket piece because I just think it's such a cool, intricate image on the Aztec calendar here. So you can take that out of your pocket if you're bored and you don't have your smartphone, or you don't feel like looking at that thing and you're sitting around waiting for something, and you can look at this cool pattern and just kind of examine it, and you'll almost always find something new in there. So it is cool. I'm a big fan of these Aztec rounds. Now, they're not cheap at all. $4.79 per round over spot. I mean, who would have thought, 5 years ago, that people would be paying almost $5 over spot for generic 1 ounce silver rounds? Militant Pacifist. I think there's a 5 ounce or 10 ounce of that one. Yeah, I think there's a bar with the Aztec calendar on it. I wouldn't mind picking one of those up. Silver Dog says, hey, HVAC Residential Basics. Hey, HVAC, how you doing, man? Hope you sold lots of AC units this week. Militant Pacifist. Yes, welcome, Militant Pacifist. Silver Dog, how you doing? All right, what else we got? We're looking at silver today, I guess. American Precious Metals Exchange. And this is just an APMEX generic round, but, these are probably one of the more recognizable forms of generic silver out there, honestly, because I think APMEX has been selling these for years. So, probably a lot of those out there, kind of like the Buffalo. We talked already today about how the inflation numbers came out on Wednesday, higher than expected. The CPI came out 0.4% higher, at 0.4%, which was higher than the median estimate of 0.3%. And unlike we've been seeing recently, when inflation numbers come out higher than expected, we've typically been seeing gold and silver fall in the recent past. But on Wednesday, when they got the CPI number out, silver moved up, and so did gold. Gold actually breached the $1,800 level. So that's a pretty significant development, I think, and it's something to keep an eye out on. I would definitely keep an eye out for the FOMC meeting that's coming out November 3rd, and we'll have to see what Jerome Powell tells us there. But I don't know. I mean, they might announce the taper. That was kind of the gist of the last FOMC meeting. But if we do hear that the taper is going to be delayed or something like that until the employment picture strengthens a little bit more, because keep in mind, we got a bad jobs report in September. We're going to have to see what happens if they kick the can down the road with the taper again. And speaking of kicking the can down the road, that debt ceiling thing got resolved, supposedly, but that's only been kicked down the road until December. So, that's coming up quick, guys. 2 more months and we're going to be facing that whole debt ceiling thing again. So still lots of tumultuous stuff going on. Armageddon will only be transitory. Wolflow says, yeah, you can guarantee that if we start experiencing Armageddon, the official line will definitely be that it is transitory and to just, sit calmly and wait for help. That's why you got to be ready to help yourself. What else we got going on? Got the polls here. My most recent poll, so this is from 5 days ago. We've got quite a few votes on there, but you can head over to the community tab on the Smart Silver Stacker YouTube channel if you guys want to vote in this. And it was, how high do you think the silver price could go over the next decade? Tell us why in the comments. And I had $500, $100 to $500, $50 to $100, $20 to $50, or silver is a barbarous relic and will never go higher. And I know some people actually have voted for that, and I think that's the official line from the Fed. So if you're voting for that, you're in good company with Janet Yellen and Jerome Powell. But I'm going to be doing a video on this poll in the near future, and then we will, hear what my price prediction is for silver for the short term as well over the next decade. So stay tuned for that, because mine is sort of in between, I think, what a lot of people are going to vote for on this poll. I would say that we could see significantly higher silver prices that we see today, but 500 plus might be a little bit optimistic for the next decade. But keep an eye out for that video, because I will be getting into that in detail in that when I cover this poll. OG Brick, then they sweep it under the rug. Oh, what do we got here? By December, they will have some new shocking story taking up all the time on the news channel. Yeah, that's always how the mainstream media works, right? Like, hey, economy's collapsing, you got $29 trillion in debt, but hey, look over here, look over here. Yeah, that's typically how it is. I'd vote it's closer to the middle. Yeah, Wolf Flow, I would say that's probably more likely. Silver preserves your buying power. Yeah, it does. That is the main thing with silver and gold, is that they are stores of value. Although I do view silver as a little bit more speculative and also with a little bit more room for growth. I think that while gold is really like the traditional store of value, that silver, although it does fulfill that role as well, it's also really a kind of a speculative asset at this point. It's just so undervalued. That's why I think it has all that room for moving up. I mean, if you look at what things were trading at, say, in 1980 when silver hit $50, I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me here, but the the S&P 500, the Dow, they were drastically lower than they are today. Gold topped out at like $800 back in 1980. Silver hit 50. And yet look at where everything is trading today. I mean, gold breaking 1800, and yet silver at $23. So silver is extremely cheap. And at a time when so many assets have been blown up into bubble territory, real estate, stocks, cryptocurrency, silver is like the deal of a lifetime. I mean, $23 is cheap. Even, with junk silver now, the premiums you're paying, like, even if you get a good, quote unquote good deal, you're paying $28, $29 a troy ounce for silver. But even that I consider to be just a steal for physical metal. Plat had great use demand as well. Yeah, platinum. Platinum does get used. I guess it gets used in catalytic converters or something like that. But I don't think it's as useful as silver. I mean, silver has a tremendous number of applications. Platinum, I know, is used as a catalyst for certain chemical reactions, and I know it's important. It is very scarce, so that, is what its value is attributed to. But silver is so useful. It's antimicrobial, it's non-toxic, it's the best conductor of electricity and heat. It is the most reflective metal. So it has all these characteristics that make it extremely desirable for a variety of applications. And it gets used in tons of stuff. I mean, it has, as a raw commodity, silver is only second to petroleum in terms of its sheer versatility and the number of applications it can be used for. And also the fact that, it is more common than, say, gold or platinum. I think in the Earth's crust, what is it, like a 7-to-1 ratio of gold to silver, something like that. So, you can afford to use silver a little bit more, a little less sparingly than you might use gold, for example. But that's just another great thing about silver. And I mean, I think that, I don't remember who, but someone told me about you a few months ago, Smart Silver Stacker. Okay, Coin Crew, well, I am glad you found me, man. Thanks for tuning into this Friday night live broadcast. And hey, if you guys like the channel, you like these live streams, please tell your friends, share the links, check out the videos on the channel, tell everybody, try to spread the word about silver, and not just my channel really either, but any good content you see about silver, because we're living in weird economic times where we've got $29 trillion in debt, and yet everybody out there is just rooting for more government spending, like spend, 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 and everybody, you have some token conservatives, I guess, who say we should rein in spending, but they don't want to rein spending in on their, pet projects, and everybody wants to spend money on something. That's why every president we've had over the past, over my lifetime, has driven the debt higher and higher and higher. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle they're on. So I think that although people are waking up to the economic reality that we live in, that we've got the silver squeeze and things like that happening, which is like a mass awakening. And if you go over to the Wall Street Silver, we can go over to Wall Street Silver right now. Let's take a look. Let's see. Stuart Hudson says first time here. Hey, Stuart, welcome, sir. Thank you for tuning in. Let's check out the Wall Street Silver page, see what they're doing tonight, because there are 160,000 members now at Wall Street Silver. Coin Crew, my first time in his live, but have watched some of the videos. Well, thank you all very much. If you've watched my videos, I really appreciate it. Check them out. There's some good ones in there. I mean, if you like silver, you'll probably like some of those. And if you guys comment on my videos, also, I do read every comment. I don't always respond, but if you ask me a question or you leave some kind of a pertinent, if you just pop in and say like, hi, I'll probably say, well, thanks for watching. But if you, want to engage in some conversation, any thoughtful comments, I almost certainly will respond. So if you ever are watching my video and you have something to say, please leave it in the comments below, because I do read every one of those for the most part. So anyway, Wall Street Silver, 160,000 members. That's sort of representative of the fact that people are waking up. But, the fact that silver is still at $23 shows to me that we still have a lot of ways, a lot of room to move up and to make people more aware. And I really do think there's going to come a time when silver will be something everybody's talking about, silver and gold specifically, and you don't want to wait until then to start stacking. You want to be stacking now and accumulating metal before it gets on everybody's radar, because there is, there's economic storm coming. There's no doubt. If the world owes $290 trillion, what happens when the aliens want it back? Yeah. Who do they owe it to, right? Well, it's a messy system of derivatives and shadow banking and stuff. So I don't know. It's beyond my comprehension how anybody owes $290 trillion to anybody, but it's certainly too much, and everybody is levered up to their eyeballs. I would assume they come and take it. Yes, the aliens that we've loaned the money to. Let's see. Some people only want to invest in crypto and think precious metals will never be more valuable. Yeah, I would consider crypto not so much an investment as it is a speculation. And, just the fact that if you bought crypto back in 2011 or whatever, and, it's gone up 5,000 times since then, there's no way that crypto is going to move up 5,000 times again. So I don't know how high it will go. Will Bitcoin get to $1 million? Who knows? It could, but it is definitely a speculative asset. It's just too new of an asset class, and also, it doesn't really have any intrinsic value. So I don't know that crypto is really an investment so much as a speculation. I have made a smart silver purchase today at spot. Oh, HVAC, nice. Yeah, gosh, if in this environment you're finding stuff at spot, you're doing it right. If there was an issue, an economic storm, they would blame it on climate change. Well, I don't know if they'll blame it on climate change. They might, and there might be some validity to that. Who knows? I mean, I think climate change is an ongoing real thing. It's always changing. But you can guarantee that when there is an economic storm, and when we do encounter that the powers that be will definitely not blame it on the real cause, because the real cause, of course, is going to be the massive levels of indebtedness and the spending and the living outside of our means. But I don't know what the scapegoat that the powers that be will come up with for the economic storm that is coming, but they're going to come up with something. It's like our current president blaming all of the inflation and scarcity on supply chain disruptions, and yeah, sure, supply chain disruptions are probably a contributing factor, but it's, I think, disingenuous when you create all of this currency. You almost print 25% of your money supply in 1 year. You monetize all this debt to the tune of $120 billion a month of treasury notes being purchased by the Federal Reserve. So you're monetizing debt like a banana republic. And then you get all this inflation and you blame it on supply chain disruptions. You don't even mention the money creation. Well, I think it's clear that this is just designed to keep people looking over here. Look over here. Don't look at the real problem. Coin Crew, I am interested in getting in contact with you, Smart Silver Stacker. I don't have your email. Mine is readily available. Okay, Coin Crew, where do I find your email? You probably don't want to put it in the chat here. If you want to leave it as like a comment or something, I guess, or you can always message me on Twitter. My Twitter name is Stack Smarter. It's a good way to get in touch with me. If you want to send me your email address or something on there, just send it over and I can get in touch with you. Let's see. The fact that they want to build back implies a collapse. Video games are going to be the scapegoat. Okay, guys, 1 second. My cat's freaking out. Hold on. Okay. I'm back. Had to open the blinds so he could look out the window. The community tab. It's on my About page, Smart Silver Stacker. Okay, Coin Crew, I will hit you up after the live stream here. Why not print a $1 trillion platinum coin instead of a $1 trillion platinum coin? Yeah, Fox Mulder, exactly. Why not just print a quadrillion dollar coin if that's how you can solve the problems? This is the same idea that you can, fix a societal problem by writing a law on a piece of paper and signing it. These guys in power, they're not magicians, they're not wizards, they're just people. Although, Jerome Powell, I'm sure he would like you to believe that he has some kind of magical power. That's how we kind of treat these guys. It's like the Wizard of Oz or something. Yeah, okay, Fox, I don't know if the Vatican's leading the charge or not. Can't confirm or deny that, but, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Supply chain issues are created on purpose through the EPA banning all trucks that didn't meet the emissions. Yeah, all of this cat wants to be in the chat. Yeah, I know. He's going nuts. It's Friday night. Woof, woof. Silver Dog. Okay. Let's see. That's a good question. The 1 ounce says $1. Do they really count it on the books as $1? Surely not. Yeah, well, I think that is pretty funny. This whole idea of them making the $1 trillion coin to deposit with the Treasury. It's all smoke and mirrors. And yeah, what's to say? You take a 1 ounce platinum coin and you make it worth $1 trillion. Like, does everybody who owns a 1 ounce platinum eagle, do they all have $1 trillion now? It's very silly. Is the spot price of platinum now $1 trillion? It doesn't make any sense. The government will most likely default in the future, says Coin Crew. Well, yeah, I don't know that that's actually what will happen, Coin Crew. I think that it's one of two possible outcomes. I think that the government could default, but I don't think that they will. If you saw the most recent video I put out, there's some testimony in there from Janet Yellen, and she talks about how it's not really important how much debt we have, but this is in congressional testimony, but what's important is that we can service the debt. So basically we can make the interest payments on the national debt. And she basically said that as long as we maintain our low interest rate environment, we'll be able to do that. And she assumed that that would be the case. Now, on the other hand, the IMF the other day was recently warning that the Fed needed to be ready to raise interest rates to deal with inflation if that became a problem. So the Fed is going to have to choose whether they want to allow us to default on our debt or whether they want to allow inflation to run rampant and destroy the dollar. And I'm betting that they'll go for the inflation option. That's why I'm stacking silver. But, even if they default, it'll still be good to have some hard money on hand because, who knows what the fallout from the government defaulting on its debt could be. It definitely would be a significantly lowered standard of living for most Americans, because we would have to stop living on all of this, borrowed money, and we'd have to actually provide for ourselves and, manufacture things and get back to work. So I don't know. Pat O says, thanks for your videos. Thank you for watching, Pat O. I appreciate it. Brian Barbie says, that's the plan. To default. I mean, rather not. It'll be a default essentially through inflation, because if you're going to pay back your debts with worthless devalued currency, there's really no difference between that and just defaulting. But it's the politically expedient move. You can just inflate your currency away and pay off all your debts with devalued currency, and then just find some kind of scapegoat to blame the inflation on. It'll never be, people taking responsibility for their own actions. It'll always be like pass the buck and find somebody to blame it on. Until it doesn't anymore. It's not a sustainable system, but who knows what the outcome will be like. A lot of these billionaires and stuff are out there buying land in New Zealand and relocating and stuff like that. So, I think that they have an idea that things at least potentially could get fairly bad in the West and in the developed world. Even third world countries know the value of gold and silver. Yeah, I remember seeing, I wish I could find this clip. I've looked for it a little bit, not extensively, but there was this clip from the Zimbabwe inflation. It was like a documentary. And these guys were digging in a river, they're like splashing around and they're looking for little tiny gold nuggets. This was during the Zimbabwe inflation, because what they would do is they would go panning for gold basically, but they didn't really have any equipment. They're just kind of digging around in the mud on this riverbank looking for gold. And then they would find flecks of gold and they would be able to buy dinner that night with their gold, because the currency was completely worthless and they had no way of getting hard money except for just digging in the banks of a river. I guess there was a naturally occurring gold deposit. And, it's not like these guys were getting rich doing this. They were finding maybe enough to, stave off starvation for one more day. But it just shows that, having some gold and silver on hand is a good thing, because if there is a hyperinflation or some kind of economic collapse, you hopefully at least will have the means to feed yourself. And of course, I know you want to have some food and all that stuff on hand too, and I do advocate that. I think preparedness is a very important aspect of just life in general, and all stackers should be, preparing in other ways as well, preparing for security and food and all that stuff. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to not have any means to feed or defend yourself and then just have a bunch of silver sitting around, because if that's the case, you're going to find out that someone's just going to take that pretty quickly in the event that anything does get bad. Brian Barbie says bunkers in New Zealand too. Yeah, the wealthy elites and stuff, they all have these, tracts of land in New Zealand, and that's not a conspiracy or anything. I mean, maybe they just like having land there because it's a nice place, but I don't know. It also would be a good place to retreat to, I think, if, the SHTF scenario unfolds. I have a master jeweler who can cast a coin that says anything. I wonder if he can cast one to make me a trillionaire. Only the Treasury can coin money. Is that it, right? Is the Treasury the one who would make that coin? I think so. Otherwise, you would be a dirty counterfeiter. HVAC residential basics. I think that would do it. LOL. Maybe after SHTF HVAC, you can have them print you up a $1 trillion coin and there will be no repercussions. If not gold and silver, they will know whiskey and tobacco. Yeah, I'm sure whiskey and tobacco would always have some demand, especially if the world was getting tough. One thing you could do is you could, rather than stack up tobacco or whiskey, you could invest in a still and learn how to use it. Although I don't know if, people are starving, if you're going to be able to find any grain to refine alcohol, but at least that would allow you to continue to produce it. Or maybe you can learn how to grow some tobacco. I have no idea how you would go about doing that, but you would be hunted down by the Secret Service. Well, yeah. If you counterfeited a coin, $1 trillion coin, sure, the Secret Service would hunt you down. We're all trillionaires in Zimbabwe fiat. Yeah, there are those Zimbabwe $1 trillion bills. I wish that I had some because they've become quite a collector's item now. These $1 trillion Zimbabwe bills. if you guys have seen these. Um, let's see. Yeah, looks like this. Well, now they're this was just a joke. Basically, you could buy these things because it's funny, $100 trillion of Zimbabwe money. But now, if you actually have some of the original ones, they're selling for quite a bit. Yeah, let's see, trillion Zimbabwe. Let's see what those are going for on eBay now. I think these are like reprints or something like that. Yeah, here's an original one. $194 for that. The $100 trillion notes, I think, are the most valuable. I want to see if there's any sold listings. Yeah, all this Zimbabwe paper currency. Here's a 50 trillion note selling for $50. It's all been kind of become kind of collectible. Here's a $100 trillion note for $132, and I think at some point these things were selling for like $1 a piece. You could just buy stacks of them if you wanted to, but it turned out that there actually was a limited number of actual physical notes, so now they're kind of collectible. I sold them before they got expensive. CoinCrate, yeah. The notes. Who would have known? You can never predict this sort of thing. Seen them make moonshine in prison with a light bulb and some wet towels to cool the condenser. Yeah, man, that prison wine. Hey, maybe a useful skill. I don't know. He sold them for 50 cents. Gosh. Yeah, well, who knows? Some guy bought, a pizza or whatever for like 1,000 Bitcoin back in the day, the first purchase, right? So don't feel too bad about selling those notes. They even had a vid where they make liquor from toilet paper. Wow, those prisoners, they are an ingenious bunch. They can just make anything up out of anything. They can make knives out of, toothbrushes, liquor out of toilet paper, whatever. All right, guys. Well, on that note, I think I'm going to wrap this live broadcast up. I really appreciate all of you participating in the chat, and I really appreciate all of you watching. I hope you guys will click the like button on the broadcast and, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Make sure you click the bell notification icon so you put all the new stuff out. And keep an eye out for the new polls that I'll be putting out. I really appreciate when you guys vote in those and comment on them. I will feature your comments in those poll videos, so leave comments on those. And, anyway, I'll catch you guys next time. I think I'm going to make these Friday night live streams a regular thing. So stay tuned next Friday. I'll try to do one Friday night. And anyway, appreciate everybody who watched. Thank you guys all very much. I hope you have a great weekend. I'll catch you next time.